time ago. A rising star signaled a great birth. Those who watched the night sky perceived this light, trusted its call, and welcomed the mystery of new life. This light flared within the life and work of Jesus. Those who gathered around Jesus were amazed by his teaching, captivated by his wisdom, touched by his compassion, and changed in his presence. When they asked him who he was, he simply said, "I am the light." This light shone in and through Jesus' life. This light shone in the lives of your ancestors. This light shines within each of us. All of us who have gathered here in this dark night, this light shines. This light lives. It lives in my heart and it lives in your heart. This light lives within the magnificent and creative universe and joins us together. This light claims all of us as beautiful and beloved. And this inheritance calls upon us to shine in all the dark places. Amen.
After Jesus was born in Bethlehem village, Judea territory, this was during King Herod's kingship, a band of scholars arrived in Jerusalem from the east. They asked around, "Where can we find and pay homage to this newborn King of the Jews? We observed a star in the eastern sky that signaled his great birth. We're on a pilgrimage to worship him." When the word of their inquiry got to Herod, he was terrified. And not Herod alone, but most of Jerusalem as well. Herod lost no time. He gathered all the high priests and religious scholars in the city together and asked, "Where is this Messiah supposed to be born?" They told him, "Bethlehem, Judea territory." The prophet Micah wrote plainly, "It's you, Bethlehem, in Judea land, no longer bringing up the rear. From you there will come a leader who will shepherd, rule my people, my Israel." Herod arranged a secret meeting with the scholars from the east, pretending to be as devout as they were. He got them to tell him exactly where the birth announcement star appeared. Then he told them the prophecy about Bethlehem and said, "Go find this child. Leave no stone unturned. As soon as you find him, send word, and I'll join you at once in your worship." Instructed by the king, they set off. Then the star appeared again, and the same star they had seen in the eastern skies. It led them on until it hovered over the place of the child. They could hardly contain themselves. They were in the right place. They had arrived at the right time. They entered the house and saw the child in the arms of Mary, his mother. Overcome, they kneeled and worshipped him. They opened their luggage and they presented gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. In a dream, they were warned not to report back to Herod. So they worked out another route, left the territory without being seen, and returned to their own country. This year, for the first time in 800 years, bright planets, Jupiter and Saturn, aligned perfectly on December 21st, the darkest day of the year. It is the beginning of winter, to create what is commonly called the Christmas or the Star of Bethlehem. It was an amazing gift to see this star, even if it was a glimpse through our cloud-filled night sky. This is the same light that pierced the darkness for people of our sacred story so long ago. The wise men, Mary and Joseph, the shepherds, and King Herod. It was not a light that gives clarity, the light of daylight, or the sun. It was not the full moon that shines like a beacon by night. This is a mysterious light. It's a wonder-filled place and space that allows movement once your eyes have adjusted. As people of faith, we can see glimmers of hope, peace, joy, and love that is found in this extraordinary light. Our sacred story shares that in the gentle light, hope is born in human form. This light opened me to wonder about how the people of our ancient story made meaning for their experiences of this light that pierced the darkness. We know that in this light, Mary and Joseph packed up, found their way to Bethlehem, where Jesus was born. And then according to one tradition, in this light, after the birth of Jesus, the Holy Family escaped to Egypt. This light inspired and informed the wise men, so much so that they knew when to pack their bags and set out on a journey of discovery. The wise people were willing to follow to see what this light would reveal, a mystery. They knew when to arrive and when to leave, always guided by another path. In this light, King Herod, the people of his court, his advisors and scribes, they knew the meaning of this planetary alignment. At the palace, everyone, I'm sure, was all abuzz about what was happening in the sky, this great light that pierced the darkness as it signaled a change, pointing to something new. This was a threat to the king. King Herod became greatly troubled to hear from the Magi that a new king for the Jews was to be born. He felt threatened and worried about his throne. This light comes to the ordinary. It came to the shepherds, and it came to the rulers of the day too. No one is exempt from the path of wisdom unfolding. The gospel writers want to share that this child is for all people, the poorest of the poor, and the elites. It illuminates a different path. All people are invited to participate in the change of a new world. This light, aligned with the understanding of ancient paths or traditions of a Messiah, one who would change the status quo, being born in an ordinary place. The evangelist Matthew, or the writers of Matthew, does not tell us that there were 3 men or 3 kings, despite what our songs or Christmas card images reveal. And maybe they earned this title wise men status because of their skills in interpreting dreams, their understanding of astrology. They were the scientists of the day. More than witnesses to validate a great mystery, they were able to wonder, to discern, to seek and find, engage in active wisdom. It takes great wisdom to make meaning of this great light that illuminates the present, a reflection of the past, and projects into the future. The Magi gave Jesus 3 gifts. Gold is a sign of kinship, long associated with the gods, and frankincense, which represents wisdom. Myrrh is a sign of long life and healing. Frankincense was and still is a costly, prized perfume. These gifts were usually given to a king, a person with high status. On this day, these gifts were given to a wee baby, just as his life began. The writers of the Gospel of Matthew dramatically lead us away from the anticipation of advent of new life, from the celebrations of a new birth, and now we are thinking of the gifts of the Magi. Ancient rhythms and the wisdom's path offers us a way to think about the deep questions, a way to make meaning in our lives. As Christians, it is our practice to engage in the wisdom of ancient rhythms, symbols, and signs, and our eternal stories. As communities and as individuals, we have permission to wonder, to seek, discern, and walk with wisdom. The promise and the good news of engaging ancient and still very relevant practices of our faith is that we begin to see the contours, the color, and the shape of the next thing we are called to. If we remain true to ourselves and walk forward, we see glimmers of what is to be nurtured in the present. This is a gift. In the coming weeks, we will be thinking about the gifts of the Christian faith, the rhythms of our tradition that are baked into our stories and our people. Our prayer is that we will have a greater understanding that we have gifts to share in abundance. We are named and claimed to join in the creative work of God, to bring about the world where all know they are beloved and beautiful. Amen, amen, and amen.